Miss Smith reads again by Michael Garland. School used to be humdrum and boring. Not anymore. Now that Miss Smith was his teacher, Zach looked forward to going every day. Each day meant Miss Smith would read a different tale from her incredible storybook. This book was like no other. When she read from it, the class would change and the story would come alive. And when it was over, everything would whoosh back into the book. Miss Smith would always remind the class when she began to read. Remember, class, don't interfere with the characters or you'll change the story and it won't end the way that it should. The story has to end, otherwise it won't go back into the book. One day, Miss Smith said, "Today we have a very special story, Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World." Zach was so excited because this story was about dinosaurs. Zach loved dinosaurs. As soon as Miss Smith started to read, the classroom began to change into the deepest, steamiest, most remote jungle of the Amazon. Then the class found themselves on a fallen tree that bridged the gap between the outside world and the steep cliffs of the plateau that was called the Lost World. "Don't look down," Zach warned, as one by one they crossed over. When they reached the other side, they could feel the air was different. They heard strange bellowing sounds echoing through the trees, and they saw some men off in the distance, threading their way through the prehistoric rainforest. Two of them wore khaki suits and helmets and carried backpacks. "Who are they?" asked Sue Ann. "They're dinosaur hunting explorers," answered Miss Smith. "Remember, don't bother them because you'll change the story and it may not end the way it should." They followed along until they came close enough to hear the two explorers arguing. Miss Smith and the class hid in the bushes and listened. "Professor Challenger, it is impossible for dinosaurs to still exist. There is simply no evidence," said the tall explorer. "Professor Summerlee, I beg to disagree," answered the short one. As Challenger and Summerlee continued their heated debate, a huge Tyrannosaurus Rex stole up behind them. Zach's eyes stared at the jagged fangs of the T-Rex. But before Miss Smith could stop him, Zach screamed, "Look out behind you!" Both explorers turned. Then Professor Challenger snatched Summerlee away, just before the Tyrannosaurus Rex pounced on the pair of them. "Run!" yelled Miss Smith as the class scattered in every direction. "Do you need any more evidence, Professor Summerlee?" asked Zach as they looked for a place to hide. Zach knew the Tyrannosaurus was very nearsighted, so they ducked into some bushes, and the king of the dinosaurs raced off without eating anyone. Luckily, the professors, Zach, and the rest of the class managed to escape the T-Rex and find one another, but Miss Smith was nowhere to be seen. "Where is Miss Smith?" asked Sue Ann. "I don't see her anywhere." Just then, another dinosaur came into view. Some of the kids got ready to run away again, but Zach told them, "Don't worry, that's a stegosaurus. They're herbivores. Stegosaurs eat only vegetation, so they're harmless, just like big cows." "We need to find Miss Smith right now. Maybe she's in danger." "Don't forget, she has to finish reading the story," Zach told the class. "Look," said Sue Ann, "footprints. Let's follow them." It was easy for the class to follow Miss Smith's trail because her sneakers left very distinctive footprints in the mud. They followed the tracks for a short distance until suddenly they disappeared. "Help! Help!" came a faint voice from high above them. It was Miss Smith. She was trapped in a pterodactyl's nest on a tree branch hanging way out over a steep ravine. The flying dinosaur must have snatched her up and put her in the nest. "We have to save her," everyone cried. "I have a plan," said Zach. He quickly told the class what to do. They broke off branches, and some of them climbed the tree. When they reached the nest, they thrashed their leafy weapons around until they scared the pterodactyl away. Miss Smith collected herself and carefully climbed out of the nest and down the tree. "Thank you, class. You saved me," Miss Smith said. "Now I think it's time we finish reading this story and go back to our classroom." She started reading, and by the time she got to the last line, the dinosaurs, the explorers, and the lost world had gone back into the book, and their classroom had returned to normal. Everything from the story had returned into the book, except for one thing. Somehow Zach was able to hold onto the pterodactyl egg. The class crowded around the egg for a closer look. Then they heard it. A tiny scratching sound, then a louder tapping, and then an even louder cracking, and then screech! The little flying reptile burst from its shell and flapped around the room over their heads. Before they could close their open mouths, the baby pterodactyl flew out the window and off into the sky. As Zach watched the winged creature soar off into the clouds, he couldn't help think of all the wonderful places reading Miss Smith's incredible storybook had taken them. I wonder what tomorrow's story will be. I hope you enjoyed Miss Smith Reads Again by Michael Garland. And go to your local library and check out the rest of Michael Garland's books.